Hello everyone, happy Tuesday and welcome to another episode of Tuesday Live at 5. This is Lena Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and I am super excited to share with you today these 3 fun projects made with the Sip Hooray and Cheers to That bundles from the Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. Now, these projects, these products, although they're in the holiday catalog, they absolutely work for all year round, and I'm going to show you that these projects don't just have to be for the holidays. Now, both of these bundles are found in the holiday catalog, as I mentioned, on page 58, so right near the back, and they are both on the same page, and they work really well together. In fact, the fonts between the 2 sets actually are quite similar, okay? So they're designed to work together. Now, the good news is Sip Hooray is carrying over and will be available after this catalog goes away. What won't be available, however, is the bundle pricing. So right now, if you purchase the Sip Hooray bundle before the catalog retires on January 2nd, you can get 10% off the bundle price, right? So you can get your Sip Hooray stamp set and the coordinating Sip and Celebrate dies at a 10% discount, so $57.50 here in Canada. So that bundle pricing will go away at the end of this catalog, okay? Hi, Deb. How are you? How are things in Calgary? Now, the other bundle, the Cheers to That bundle, this one is retiring. So it's going to be gone, no longer available once the catalog retires. So that includes both the stamp set and the Cheers dies. And that bundle pricing is 10% for 10. You get it bundled for 10% off. It's $41.25. Now let me just show you what's included, because I always find it easier to see the dies when you see them in real life. So the Cheers to That dies are simply the Cheers dies and then these little flourishes. Okay, so not a ton in that set, but the Cheers is a nice big font and can be the focal point of your card. Okay, there is the stamp set with the coordinating sentiments. All right, so that is the one that's retiring. The other bundle is the Sip Hooray. So there is our stamp set. We're going to use lots of these images today. And then we also have the dies. So we have this fun background die, which I'll show you today. And then the different beverage glasses and all of your little garnishes as well. Okay, so that one is not going away, but the bundle pricing is. Okay. Oh, nice and sunny in Calgary, is it? It is not so nice here. We're going to get some frigid weather over the next few days here and snow squalls. So it's not going to be so nice here. I'm glad it's nice for you in Calgary though, Dad. All right, so let's get going. I'm going to start with a simple one. We're going to start with this one. Now, this absolutely could be for any occasion. This does not have to be a Christmas card or any remotely connected to the holidays. It simply says Sip Hooray on the inside. Hope your big day is just one happy hour after another. So this could certainly be a birthday card. And I'm going to show you how quick and easy it is to put this together using this bundle. So let's dump out all our little bits here. And we will get right to it. Now, I have already stamped and die cut my wine glasses, but I'm going to show you how I did them. So I've just got a little bit of scrap white cardstock here. And I'm going to pull out my Memento Black ink and my wine glass stamp and ink that up. And we're just going to stamp it twice on that white scrap. Okay. I'm going to keep that out because I'm going to need it in a minute for something else. And then each different glass has an image, it's sort of like a smudge image, that is designed to be the beverage that's in that glass. So I wanted this to look like some red wine glasses. So I'm going to use some Rich Razzleberry to stamp my wine inside my glasses, just like that. Okay, that's all there is to that. Now then I would take it over to the Big Shot and die cut. And once you do, you end up with 2 wine glasses. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and glue one of these down onto my cardstock. So this is a piece of Rich Razzleberry cardstock that I've die cut using the stitch rectangle dies. All right. Hi, Kathy. How are you? And I'm going to go ahead and glue one of my wine glasses just right down onto that cardstock. So I'm going to use just a little bit of Tombow here, and we're going to glue it right down. And I'll put it right about there. Okay. Now, before I do anything else, I'm going to stamp my Sip part of my sentiment. I'm going to stamp that in the black. And I'm going to stamp it just sort of up towards the top because I want to have room for my hooray. below it. And then I'm going to take my Hooray. So this is die cut from some silver glimmer paper. And I've put some of the multi-purpose adhesive sheets on the back of this. Now I know we don't carry these anymore, but they are still my go-to for gluing detail dies. They will be until I run out of this stuff. So there we go. We're going to stick that right down on there. Okay. And then I have a little ribbon trick. So this ribbon I've just tied around a bottle. I've shown you this before. I tied it in a double knot. And then I'm going to actually have this. I want it to go right about here. I want my knot to go right about there. Okay. So I'm going to snip it right about there. And then, oh, did I snip it? Nope. Snipped it too short. That's okay. We'll start over. Hang on. Let's try that again. This way I get to show you my bottle trick. Hello, Anne. How are you doing? Okay, so here is my bottle trick. This is just my little ribbon saving trick. So I'm going to wrap it around my bottle. And you know what? I'm going to tie a bow because I like bows. So I need this to be a little bit longer. So I'm going to wrap it there and tie my bow. So I'm tying this around. This is a very old bottle of Stampin' Mist. Like so old you can't even see the label on it anymore. It's from when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, I think. Okay, and then I'm going to slide that off. So there's my bow. I've tied it around my bottle. And then I can play with the size of my loops. Just get them just right. Okay, now I'm going to snip this off of my spool of ribbon. And then we're going to get this right this time. So I need a shorter tail on one side and a longer tail on the other. That's going to be much better. So I'm going to take a glue dot. No, the water brush, the red one is actually stamped with this stamp, Anne. Okay, so don't need to watercolor it. It is just, that's what the stamp looks like. Super easy. No water required. Hi, Gail. How are you doing? I'm glad you have this stamp set. It is a fun set, and it is perfect for so many occasions. You can make birthday cards, congratulations, weddings. We're going to do a New Year's card today. You can do Christmas cards. There's so many possibilities with this set. Gotta love versatility, right? There's nothing better. All right, so I'm going to snip this tail so that they're even. There we go. That looks much better. There is my cute little bow. All right, now my other wine glass, I'm actually going to pop up on the front of this card. And we're going to pop this here just like that. And we will put this on just offset a little bit, just like that. Okay, so there are my two wine glasses. And then we're going to work on our background. So this background panel is cut to 4 by 5 1/4. Oh, you forgot that ribbon tip, did you, Sandy? It's a handy one. It's a great way to save some ribbon and get pretty little bows. Okay, so this is, again, 4 by 5 1/4 inch cardstock, basic black. I have run it through the die cutting machine. Where did I put my dies? Where'd they go? There they are. Using this confetti piece. Okay, so this is the piece that will cut these holes. Now, when you run it through, you're going to get a line from the edge of the die. That's inevitable. Okay, so what I did after I die cut it is I ran it through my subtle embossing folder, and that made the lines much less obvious. Okay, it just gives a little bit of texture and takes away the lines. You don't see it very well, very much. Okay, so then I have another piece of cardstock. It is 4 by 5 1/4 inches, Rich Razzleberry, and I'm going to layer the black right over top of the raspberry like that. Okay, now I'm going to use a bit of liquid glue for this, just because I want to make sure that I get right up to the edges so I have a bit of wiggle time. The other thing is I'm going to add some little dots. You just need to be careful along the edges where the holes are, because we do not want glue oozing through those little holes, right? That'll be a sticky mess on the front of our card. So we're just going to add some little bit of glue there along the edges, and then pop that right over top of our raspberry cardstock. Just get that centered on there. Okay, and now I've got a little bit of overhang, so I'm going to just trim that off just a smidge here. So I'll just take my scissors and snip that right along the edge. And if this ever happens, just use the edge of your cardstock as a guide. Okay, so if you accidentally miscut, no big deal. All right, okay. Now, this is going to get popped up right on the center of my panel here. So I'm going to add some dimensionals. Just like that. Oh, come here, you guys. Sticky dimensionals today. They're sticking to each other rather than to my paper. And we'll get rid of these backings. And we're going to pop this on to the front of the card. And I want to center it, so I'm going to aim to kind of land it right about there. Okay, so that's my card front done. Now, my base is a piece of Smokey Slate cardstock. It is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So I'm going to fold in half along my score line. Where did my bone folder go? It is here. Okay, and then we can go ahead and glue this down. So we'll add a bit of fast fuse to the back of this. And my upside down gluing skills. We're going to glue it just like that. Equal border on all sides. There we go. And our last touch is just a little bit of bling. These cards are all blingy today. I'm sorry. I was in a blingy kind of mood. Feeling the love for the bling. So I just got some rhinestones here. I'm just going to add a few rhinestones to the front of my card. Okay, and that is it. Really quick and simple. Fun card. Totally perfect for a birthday card. Could be a wedding card. Could be, you could do it easily in the wedding colors. Lots of possibilities for this one, but really, really quick and easy to make. Okay, so that is number 1 done and done. Well, let's move on to number 2. Get this out of the way. Get these out of the way. Okay, gotta keep my wine glass out. All right, we are good. Let's get this stuff out of the way. All right, next one is this fun Christmas one. So let me grab that. Where did I put my samples? I'm losing it. They're there. They're there. Okay, there is my sample. We're going to work on this one. Now, this one looks really complex, but it's really not. It's just a bunch of die cut pieces. And the good news is that I've already die cut them, so you don't have to wait for me to die cut them all. You can get most of these through in one pass through the machine because they all use different dies. You just have to cut a couple of them twice because I did multiples of the same die. So I'm going to show you how to do that so you get them all on one sheet. So this is just a piece of Whisper White cardstock, okay? And I'm going to take my Pool Party ink and I'm going to stamp. Let's get my Stampin' Mist out of the way. I don't need that right now. I'm going to start with my martini glasses, okay? So I'm going to stamp one martini glass right side up. And then I'm going to take and flip it upside down. And that way I can get it snugged right up and not use a ton of paper, okay? Then I'm going to take my 2 wine glasses, same thing. So we're going to go, oh, did I clean that? Oh, I did not. Naughty, naughty, naughty. Forgot to clean my wine glass. Now I've got black ink in my pool party pad. Do you guys know how to fix that when that happens? Do you know how to fix that? What you do, can you see the black ink? You can see the outline of the wine glass. So all you do is you take a paper towel. I don't have any paper towel handy, or I would show you how to do it. You take a paper towel and you blot up that spot until you see that image disappear. Okay, then you take some re-inker and you re-ink the pad and it is good as new. Okay, so if that happens to you, don't stress. It is easy to fix. Not the end of the world. Happens in my classes a lot. Not a big deal. Okay, so I'm going to stamp my 2 wine glasses. There we go. And then I have a champagne glass and I'm going to stamp that one horizontally here. Okay, so there are all my wine glasses done, or all my beverage glasses, I should say. Then I'm going to stamp my little pine sprig here. These are my garnishes for 2 of my drinks. So I'm just going to stamp them right about there. Okay. Excuse me, I still have a bit of a cough. This cold is lingering and lingering and lingering. Okay, so now I need to stamp the beverages in my glasses. So yeah, it is super easy, Deb. Super easy to fix an oopsie like that. Okay, so I have let's make sure that one's clean. Yes, it is. So this one is kind of a triangle shape, and it is designed to go inside the martini glass. So I'm going to ink up my stamp with Pool Party. So this is Pool Party beverage inside a Pool Party glass. And I'm going to stamp that twice. So these little smudgy images make doing the beverages really, really easy. Okay, so that's that. Then I'm going to pull in some real red. And we are going to stamp the beverages for the other glasses. However, we are going to stamp off once. Okay, I wanted them to be a little bit lighter. So there is my champagne glass. It almost looks pink when it's stamped off like that. I'm going to give this a clean because I'm not going to do the same thing I just did before. Let's clean that one. There we go. And now we can do our wine glasses. So again, I'm going to stamp off once and then stamp inside each glass. Okay, that's it. Super quick and easy. Run these through to die cut them. All right, there are coordinating dies for all of these images. And when you are done, let me just get these out of the way here. You will end up with all of these little bits. Okay, so let's pretend I've already cut that. And here are my die cut bits ready to assemble our card. All right, so here I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock. It is 5 1/4 by 4 inches. I've run it through with that same confetti die. Now, can you see the edge? Can you see the outline of the die there? That's what you get when you run it through, okay? There's nothing you can do about it. It's just a fact of life with that die. But it is easy to disguise that, okay? One of the ways is to emboss this panel. The other is to just put stuff in front of it. So here I have, this is a piece of actually Let It Snow DSP. Look at those cute little snowmen. I used some of this last week. But the reverse sides of this paper that have lots of patterns that you can use any time of year. Like this does not have to be snow, right? It can just be confetti. So I've cut this to 1 3/4 inches by 5 1/4. And I'm gonna glue this right flush with the bottom edge of my white cardstock. So let's just grab a bit of Tombow here. And we'll pop that onto the bottom of our panel. And again, white on white is not my strong suit. So I'm going to pick this up so I can see the edge of the cardstock. There we go. Okay, just like that. Now I'm ready to go ahead and glue this right onto my card base. So this is a real red card base. It is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. I will fold along my score line, crisp that up, and then I'm going to go ahead and glue that onto the front. And I love the way that that die cut just makes it look like confetti on the front of the card. I just think that's so fun. So we're going to, again, use a bit of Tombow just to make sure that we get glue where we need it and not where we don't. So I'm just adding a little bit of glue here, and then I'm going to carefully add just a little bit just along the top edge there to make sure that our edge lies flat, but that we don't end up with Tombow ooze. So then we will pop this right onto the front of our card, just like that. Okay, and then tip, whenever you want to burnish your cards, your layers, when you're gluing things down, flip the card over and rub it from the back. That way, if you have smudgies on your fingers or adhesive or whatever, you won't get it on the front of your card. All right. Okay, so that is that. Now we are ready to go ahead and add our beverages. So our champagne glass is kind of going to be the focal point. It's going to be at the front, and then we're going to kind of work back. So one of my martini glasses I did glued flat, and then I'm going to pop up a wine glass in front of it. And then this side I did the opposite. I glued the wine glass flat, and I'm going to pop up the martini glass. Okay, so we're going to start by gluing the wine glass flat with just a little bit of Tombow. And again, you want these to look like they're kind of sitting on a tabletop, right? So they don't need to be lined up perfectly. In fact, it's going to be more interesting to look at if they're not all lined up in a tidy little row, because let's be honest, how many parties have you been to where the glasses are all lined up in a row? Not very many. So we'll add our martini glass here. And then we're going to pop up this wine glass. So we'll go one, and we'll put a mini on the base. These minis are perfect to put right at the base of the glasses. to keep them popped. I'm actually going to add one more just at the top of the stem there. And we're going to pop this guy up and be just a little bit lower so it looks like it's standing in front. Okay. Then we're going to add our champagne glass. So we're going to put a couple of dimensionals on this guy and then another mini at the bottom of this one. We'll get those going. Okay, so this guy is going to go right about here, middle-ish of the card. Okay, and then we're going to have our other martini glass that's going to be popped up on the other side. So we'll just do one dimensional and one mini on that one. And we'll kind of pop that one. We'll put it right about there. Okay, so there are my glasses. Then I have my little garnishes. So here I use the little pine sprigs. Now you could absolutely change this card, change the color scheme and change the theme. This is a Christmas card, so I use the little pine sprigs, but you could have olives in your martini glasses. You could put strawberries. There are all sorts of different garnishes in this set that make it possible to do just about any themed card. Now the end of the little sprig that is extending off the glass, I'm going to put a little mini dimensional there, and then I'm going to put a glue dot on the end that overlaps so that it lies flat. So we're going to kind of have that sitting in there like that. And then our other little sprig is going to go on the other side in the other martini glass. So we'll add another glue dot on here. So I did the same thing. Okay, so dimensional glue dot, and this guy's going to go kind of over this way. Okay, so there are my glasses, done and done. Now we're going to stamp our sentiment. So the sentiment here says, "I'll drink to that." And that will go, that works for pretty much anything, I think. To get my black ink. There we go. And we're going to stamp it. This is a 7/8 inch wide, 7/8 inch wide piece scrap of Whisper White cardstock. I think it's maybe 3 inches long, just a bit of scrap. Okay. And I'm going to stamp in my Memento Black right in the middle of that strip. Okay. A little bit crooked, not perfect, but it'll do. All right, so then I'm going to punch one end using my tailored tag punch. Now, I was very excited to see many of you picked this punch up. Ooh, I got some glue dots stuck to my punch. Many of you picked this up last week during the free shipping promotion, which made me very happy. I was very excited to see so many of you pick this one up. It's a great punch. So I'm going to slide it in, punch my banner end on the one end. Okay, now this is going to go on the front of my card, and I don't want it to go too far over. I'm going to trim a little bit off the end. But first, I'm going to add a little bit of ribbon here. So here I have, this is Coastal Cabana. It doesn't quite match my color scheme, but it's pretty close. So I hope you'll forgive me that it isn't exactly coordinated, but I think it works. So we're going to go with it. So I'm just going to take and put a little bit, a glue dot really on one end, and wrap it around, trim out. This is a great way to use up little scraps of ribbon when you've got those little bits that you don't really want to throw away, but that really aren't long enough to do a whole lot with. There you go. Great use for a little scrap of ribbon. And then we're going to tie a bitty bow. Now I am right at the tail end of this, so I'm going to have just enough, I think, to tie my bow. So to do my bow, I'm going to hold my ribbon. Hi, Elfie. How are you doing? Between my index and middle fingers, and then pinch to create two little loops. Okay, so there are my loops. I'm keeping them flat. Then I'm going to cross my left loop over the right one and pull it through the loop. And that creates my quick and easy little bow. So this ribbon is really adorable. I love it. I love the stripes, and easy to tie, holds its shape really nicely. So we're going to just trim the tails there just like that. And then this is going to get adhered onto my little strip here at a bit of an angle. Okay, I don't want to cover up my sentiment, so it's going to go on right about that. Actually, you know what? I don't even need to trim much off. I think we're going to leave it just like that. All right, so I'm going to add a dimensional here where it's going to lie flat on the card. I'm probably going to put two there, actually. We'll kind of snug them up side by side. And then I'm going to put another dimensional sort of between these glasses where the banner is going to extend. Okay, so I'm going to just stick it on. Let's make sure it's straight to start. And we'll put it right about there. Okay, there we go. Now my last touch, because I like a little bling, as I mentioned, is adding a bit of Wink of Stella. So I'm going to take and just add a bit of Wink of Stella to my beverage glasses and make them a little bit sparkly. So I'm starting with the Pool Party, just because it's a lighter shade. Now the Wink of Stella, you want to be quick with this. You don't want to use too much because it will, can you see how that's blurring the image just a little bit? So you don't want it to be too blurred, right? You don't want to smear your ink all over the place. So I'm just adding a little hint of that and a little bit of bling. I'm not sure how well that shows up on the camera, but gives us a little bit of sparkle. Okay, now that is all there is to it. I'll show you what I did on the inside of my original. I just added a white panel and I added the Eat, Drink, and Have a Merry Christmas sentiment and then a couple more pine sprigs, but easily changed, you could easily change this card to a birthday or a wedding or congratulations by simply switching up the inside sentiment and the color scheme. Okay, so that is number 2. We are rolling along. Let's get this stuff out of the way. And we'll bring in number 3. Now, this is my second to last video of 2019 and the decade. I will be off next week because it is Christmas Eve. Can you believe next Tuesday is Christmas Eve? And in our house, we go to church on Christmas Eve. So I will be in church during my regular broadcast time. So I will not be available Christmas Eve to do a video. However, I will be back on New Year's Eve with some special sneak peeks of the new catalog. So this, as I said, is my second to last video, and I thought I would wish you all a Happy New Year by showing you this fun New Year's card. Okay, now this particular card uses the Cheers to That bundle, right? So it uses my Cheers die and the Cheers to That stamp set. Okay, so let me show you how I did that. It's really quick and easy. We made this at my wine club this month, and it was so fast, so fast, because I did, most of it's just die cutting. All right, so we're going to start with our hammered metal background. Now, look how gorgeous this is. So this is some of the Noble Peacock foil sheets from the annual catalog. All right, it is Blueberry Bushel, and I've run it through the hammered metal embossing folder. And I'm not sure if you can see, but it actually cracks the foil a little bit and gives it a little bit of a distressed look. And I just love that look. It's so pretty and sparkly. So this panel is cut to 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, and then I have some ribbon. Now, do you recognize this ribbon? It's in the catalog. This is our white and silver 3/8 satin ribbon. However, I have taken my, oh, did I bring my blends over? Maybe I forgot it. I did. Hang on. I have taken my Night of Navy light Stampin' blends and colored it so that it would coordinate with my card. Now I've left a little bit here on the end just so I could show you what I did. So I took the brush tip and I literally took and painted my ribbon. Okay, I'll maybe do the whole thing so you can see. So I'm just using nice long strokes all the way along. Now you can layer this color on as much as you'd like. Okay, I'm really darkening this down by adding another layer of color, but that's okay. It'll still work with my card. Okay, just super quick and easy. And this ribbon is my favorite because you can customize it to any color using your Stampin' blends. All right, that easy to do. Now, the other cool thing about this is the color goes right through. Okay, so you have totally reversible ribbon. You can use it to tie bows. This has to dry a little bit because it's quite soaked right now. But that's it. It's so easy to color your ribbon with your Stampin' blends. All right, so I'm going to set that aside for a minute to dry. And we're going to do some stamping. Now, this is a stitched nested label cut from Whisper White cardstock. And I'm going to stamp my To the New Year sentiment using some Memento Black ink. So we'll ink that up, make sure we're good and inky. And what I did when I stamped this, make sure you can actually see what I'm doing here, is I stamped it low enough that the ends of my little lines there touched the stitching on both sides. Okay, and that's one way to help you make sure you get it straight. Okay, just like that. And I'm going to pop my lid back on this, and then we're going to adhere our cheers. So again, I've used some of the multi-purpose adhesive sheets, and I've die cut it with the adhesive sheets on the back. All right, It's quite a delicate die or die cut, and I find the liquid glue really tricky to maneuver on this narrow die cut. So I'm going to go ahead and stick my cheers down. And the nice thing about this is you can actually sort of slide your letters in, squeeze your letters in enough. Whoops, that's not quite centered. Let's see if we can get that centered a bit better. There we go. You can actually pinch your letters in enough, a little bit, so that it'll fit on this quite nicely. Okay, so there is my cheers. Hi, Deneen, how are you doing? Okay, so there's my cheers, ready to go. Now here I have a champagne glass that is die cut. I'm not going to do any stamping on it. I've die cut it from the mercury glass acetate. So this is also in the holiday catalog. It is also retiring. So it's something that you're going to want to pick up if you haven't already done so. I'm going to add just a little bit of fast fuse to the back of my tag and adhere this just sort of on the end of my little tag here, my label. Okay. All right. Now, this should be dry, and indeed it is. So I'm going to take and add a glue dot to one end of my ribbon. And I'm going to put this on, I don't know, maybe 1.5 inches up from the bottom. I'm going to adhere one end and snip the excess there, and then adhere the other end. Okay, just like that. Then I have this fun die cut. This is from the Stitched Stars dies. Okay, now these dies thankfully are not going away. However, the stamp set that coordinates with it is. So there is an awesome stamp set that coordinates with this die set, and it is retiring, but the dies are not. Okay, so if you have not yet picked up this bundle, you may want to think about doing that before the catalog goes away. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stick this down onto the front of my card, or my panel here, and I'm just going to use a little bit of fast fuse. I'm not really worried because I'm going to hide it once I put all my other pieces on. I'm just going to tack that in place like that. Okay. Next, I'm going to go ahead and add my label. So I'm going to add some dimensionals onto the back of my label. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to add a couple of mini dimensionals onto our champagne glass. And you want to place these strategically so that they are invisible when you add them, so you don't see them peeking out from behind your mercury glass. Okay, so we'll get rid of this, and we're going to pop this right on the front. Okay, just about like that. Straight is better than not. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and glue this onto our card base. So this is a 5.5 by 8.5 inch piece of thick Whisper white cardstock. I've got dimensional stuck to me. And it is scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and fold that in half along the score line. And then add a bit of fast fuse to the back of our panel. And then pop that onto the front of our card. Just like that. Okay, and again, burnish it from the back. So if you've got inky fingers, the smudges are on the back. Okay, so now I have some little stars. These are what come out of this sort of swirly stars die when you die cut them. So I thought, well, rather than waste them, let's use them, right? So these actually are going to get adhered using glue dots. Where are you, glue dots? There you are. So I just kind of put them randomly wherever. I mean, it is a little explosion of stars, right? So we're not going to worry too much about placing them in any particular place. So I'm going to kind of do 3 here. I'm missing one. I don't know where my other one went. Oh, there it is. It was upside down. I couldn't see it. White on white. Again, there's that white on white issue I have. We'll add one here, and we'll add one more down here. Oh, this had sticky on it. Look at that. Okay, so then we're going to add some little rhinestones. So I don't know if you can see. It's almost not noticeable, but this little detail I think is just fun. We're going to add some little rhinestone bubbles onto just above our champagne glass. So I've just got some little bitty rhinestones here, and we're just going to pop a couple of them right on to the front of our card because, well, let's face it, you can never have too much bling, right? So there is my finished blingy card. Could it get any blingier? I love it. Sometimes I just can't help myself. I just get going and I just keep adding more and more and more. Now let me just show you on my original again what I did on the inside. I did a wish for peace and happiness in the new year, and then these are some of the stars from that awesome stamp set that coordinates with these dies that are going away. Okay, so I stamped them in the blueberry bushel along the bottom. So that is my finished card. Do you like it? I hope you like it. I love, love, love the bling at this time of year. So I'm going to pull in all 3 of my projects again. 1, 2, and 3. So you can see them all. And I do want to mention to you that very soon, as in this weekend, I am going to be sending out my catalog mailing of the new January to June mini and celebration brochure. So let me just bring those in. So this is our new catalog. I can't show the inside yet, but not next week, 2 weeks from tonight on New Year's Eve, I will be showcasing all sorts of new products from this catalog. Okay, so I am sending this catalog out, and I am sending the celebration brochure. You'll get both of them in the mail. If you are one of my customers or you request a catalog, if you have purchased from me before, you don't need to request. You will automatically get one from me. But if you are new and you have not got a demonstrator here in Canada and you would like copies of these catalogs, I would love to send them to you. So just shoot me a quick message and I will get them out to you right quick. All right. Okay, everyone, that is it for me today. And for next week, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season with your family. And I will see you in 2 weeks on New Year's Eve as we ring in 2020 with some brand new products. Thanks so much for joining me, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye for now.